Good afternoon and welcome to Memorial Day at the Bonita Bay Club. My name is Romano. I'm the president of the Bonita Bay Veterans Council, which is 500 members strong. On behalf of the council, I would like to thank you for joining us today to celebrate all veterans who have passed on and served their country with pride and honor. We are proud to have two special speakers with us today, along with many dignitaries and one very, very special guest in the audience whom we will speak about later. Our first guest speaker is Lieutenant General Gary Speer, who was the keynote speaker at Riverside Park this morning. Lieutenant Speer retired from the United States Army with his last assignment as Deputy Commander, United States Army Europe, after over 37 years of commissioned service. And say a few words.
I want to highlight this afternoon is I want to talk about Josh's generation, the new generation of veterans and their contributions. Here's the thing: since September 11th, 2001, 3 million American men and women have joined the military and answered the call to serve. 3 million. They did so fully aware of the dangers that lied ahead, the challenges they would face. They did so knowing full well that they would be called to combat in Iraq or Afghanistan. And also of significance, for the first time in our nation's history, this was an all-volunteer force, not one that we volunteered for them to go. The significance is that after 9/11, these young men and women took the fight far from our shores to better prepare the situation so that we would never be attacked at home again. And now, as we are emerging from our longest continuous period of combat in our nation's history, we still have over 200,000 men and women today serving far away from home. And although officially we've declared the end of the combat in Iraq and the end of combat in Afghanistan, let there be no mistake, we are still a nation at war. We still have an enemy deemed to undermine the liberties which you hold dear. You may not know these names as you became accustomed to Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. Few Americans would recognize Operation New Dawn, Operation Inherent Resolve, and Operation Freedom Sentinel. Those are the ongoing operations in Iraq and Afghanistan since we stopped combat operations. And today, as Memorial Day, we remember the 6,800 plus young men and women who gave the ultimate sacrifice since 9/11. And we remember especially the 72 who paid the ultimate sacrifice and died in combat operations since the end of Iraqi freedom and enduring freedom. Now, this morning I mentioned that less than 1% of the American population serves or has served in the military. Well, I know that's not representative of this audience, but the significance of that is daunting. The truth is that the average American across our country doesn't even know a service member. It's only what they read in the news, because it's a very small percentage that actually serve. I am concerned that the great American society has lost contact with those who serve and represent you wherever you send them. Now also, of significance. Today, 77% of young Americans aged 18 through 24 cannot qualify to enter the military. They can't qualify for three primary reasons. One, education, a lack of a high school diploma or its equivalency. Or I'm sad to report that in some locations across the country, high school diplomas are nothing more than a certificate of attendance because they then fail that very basic Army test that we all took that's kind of like C-spot run in 2+2. Another group cannot enter the military for medical reasons, but truthfully, that's largely because of obesity, childhood obesity. Or it's because of the fact that, unlike all of you, as you grew up, you spent your time outside playing sports. The younger generation tends to spend their time inside in front of the television or a game board. And another large segment of that young group cannot qualify because of their criminal record of drug dependency. And I must tell you, drug dependency is not always a fact that's illegal. Because we've adopted a tendency to take a young kid that's got problems and diagnose them with some disease that's about that long and give them medication. And then by the time they're 18 years old, they're drug dependent, although totally legal. So those who served, that 23%, are truly the cream of the crop. And also of significance, through 15 years of conflict, our armed forces have met every recruiting and retention goal from just that 23%, and maintained their all-volunteer force and maintained their standards, having not had to lower the bar. So, while on one hand today we pay tribute to the greatest generation and the path that they paved for all of us, today we also pay tribute to the latest generation. Thank you.
Memorial Day is not only a time to commemorate those veterans who gave their lives fighting for our country in order to make our world a better place, but also to honor veterans who were wounded in battle, both physically and or emotionally. Those who returned home still fight hard every day to recover from injuries that they suffered. In keeping with this vision, we are proud to announce that retired Lance Corporal Josh Wege will be our keynote speaker today. He is a member of the renowned Wounded Warriors amputee softball team and a resident of Estero. Josh Wege, retired Lance Corporal in the United States Marine Corps, joined the U.S. Marines on August 4th of 2008. Upon completion of boot camp at Marine Corps Depot, San Diego, he moved to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, to complete his military occupational school. Josh graduated top of his class and received a meritorious promotion to Lance Corporal. On his first tour of duty in Afghanistan, his vehicle struck a 200-pound improvised explosive device, which resulted in the amputation of both of his legs below the knees. Josh is an active voice in the community and speaks frequently about his own comeback story, as well as the mission of the Wounded Warrior amputee softball team. Josh resides in Estero, Florida, where he attends school full-time with the aspirations of becoming a certified prosthesis. Josh, if you take the stage.
Thank you very much for having me. And I just wanted to tell you and use this time to share a little bit about my story and reflect on what Memorial Day means to me. Now, Memorial Day, I mean, growing up, I was that kid that didn't really understand the difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day. You know, I looked at it as just another day off school, right? Yeah, it's just an extended weekend. But when I got into the military, I realized the strong importance of this day, and especially after my injuries in Afghanistan. You know, it's not about me. This day isn't about me. I mean, yes, I gave a little bit. It's not about the veterans. Like today, it's especially for the guys that came home draped in this flag, and we need to remember that. I watched a documentary about a month ago, and it was on the honor flight of World War II veterans coming back and finally getting honored, going to the World War II memorials and getting to see some of the thank yous that the DC community could give them. And one quote kind of stuck out from that documentary, and it was a gentleman who said, you know, I wasn't afraid to die. I was never afraid to die, but when I got home, I had to figure out how the hell I was going to live. And that's how the hell you're going to live with the memories of fallen brothers and sisters overseas. And that's the memory that we all did a comeback with. And the only way I've figured out how to make sense of that is to live your life in a way that would honor the guys that you left behind. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I think I do that with my life. Since my injuries, I joined the Marine Corps in 2008, went through all the school, went through boot camp, and when I got to my military occupational school, upon graduation, they came up to me and said, hey, you're going to be in the desert within a month. And I was like, holy crap, I hadn't even gone through I hadn't gone through Mojave Viper, I hadn't gone through CATS, I hadn't gone through any of the pre-deployment training, but this was my time to go. And my job overseas was to train the Afghan National Police and the Afghan National Army to take over their own country, to really govern themselves. It's a very tribal nation, so they depend on each other to really govern themselves. But the problem is, going overseas, the guys we're training, some of them are the bad guys, and you don't really know that going over. But my job overseas was to train them, and that's what I did. But about 6 months into my first tour, we rolled over a 200-pound IED, trying to go resupply the guys that I were training. And as a result of that explosion, I lost both my legs. That happened at 19 years old. So me being the athlete that I was sitting at Walter Reed Army Medical Center in DC, and I really didn't feel sorry for myself at that point. I looked at it as just another challenge in life. I had been brought up in the military to look at life as an opportunity and to look at the challenges and attack them head on. And that's what I was prepared to do. So through my injury, it actually unlocked a lot of doors for me. And one of the ways I found to give back to honor the guys that I had lost was to join the WWII amputee softball team. And its mission is to enhance the health and welfare of WWII amputees as well as other veterans, because some guys come back with physical injuries, but there's also many that come back with injuries that you can't see. Some guys can't leave Afghanistan, or Iraq, or wherever you have been in conflict. So we're there to raise awareness for that. You know, this is the way I found to honor the guys that I lost. One of the things that we do is we're able to touch the lives of kids all around the country. We hold what's called a kids camp. We bring in 20 amputee children in and teach them how to play the game of softball for a week, because that's the instrument that I use to give back to kids as well as the community. As you said before, I have a comeback story, and everybody loves a comeback story. I mean, we see the blind side. We got 29 individual comeback stories on the WWII amputee softball team. Everybody's got their own story to share, and one of the things we get to do is share our stories to these children. And so far, we've been able to touch 40 kids' lives, and that's multiplies into their families and really touches them, because these kids come in broken. They come in with confidence issues. They really don't know who they are, and they're really ashamed of their injuries. And it really touched me. And one of the things I realized that when I looked at these kids was, you know, they didn't deserve this. You know, I signed up for what I did. I knew it was a possibility. I actually signed something on a dotted line that said, you signed this and you now have insurance on your body parts. I had no idea I did that, but I did. And luckily I did, because look what happened to me. I'm a little missing a couple toenails. But now we get to give back to the kids and give back to their families, and it just gives back. These kids their parents kind of put them in a bubble. They treat them like they're broken, they treat them like they're fragile, and then we get to bring them in and kind of rub them in the dirt and bring them back to reality, because life's not fair. And we teach them how to play the game of softball. The way it's set up is for 4 days we teach them how to play the game, teach them fundamentals. For many kids, it's the first time they've ever stepped on the field of competition. It's the first time they've ever thrown a ball, or they've been injured and they're trying to get back onto the field to play. And then the last day, we hold a scrimmage, or an inter-squad scrimmage in the stadium. And it's important to have it in the stadium because these kids, their names get announced. They have their own jerseys with their names in the back. And they also get to see themselves on the big screen. So they get to be like the Yankees. They get to be like my team, the Brewers. They get to be really treated like the big timers. And it's amazing to see the transformation of these children throughout the week. And it's the way that I have found it. It's been one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life. They come in broken, ashamed, and then they come out of this camp with 19 other friends, plus the team, plus the other families. And you know, we've heard it multiple times. Dave can attest, he's our general manager, that these kids come in and they refuse to wear shorts because kids are mean, they pick on them, whatnot. But they come out with a newfound confidence. They come out knowing who they are as individuals. And so many times, like I've heard it from their moms, they say, you know, Mom, I'm not afraid to wear shorts anymore. Like, this is who I am. This is me. And it's one of the things that really, it's been the most rewarding thing, and I will never miss it. We're going to have our next kids camp out in Mission Viejo, California, so I get to go see the beaches of California for a little bit, and also get to help children. But it's been one of the most amazing things that I've ever been able to do in my life, and it's because I got injured. One of the things that I always like to take people to reflect on and really look at is the military is really good at preaching you to charge forward no matter what. But I think it's very important for somebody to take some backward momentum. And I realize, saying that, the only thing you should do is take one step back. You should take one step back to reflect on the path that your life has taken. You know, are you honoring your brothers and sisters that have fallen overseas? Are you honoring your family? Are you doing whatever? Now, I can safely say that, you know, through my service to other people, to the kids, that I hope I'm honoring the guys that I left behind. And that being said, you know, Memorial Day is a day we should thank, you know, families of people that have left behind. You know, you don't have to wait for Veterans Day to thank a veteran. So at this time, I'd like to thank personally. And if you can stand, or if you want to raise your hand, any veteran in the crowd, doesn't matter what conflict you're from the greatest generation to the latest generation, especially the Vietnam vets, you know, I would like to thank you for your service. And you please stand or raise your hand. I'd like to give you a round of applause right now. Thank you, but I also, and since it is Memorial Day, more importantly, I want to thank the people you did left behind. I'm sure every one of you knows somebody who didn't make it back, somebody who was draped in these beautiful colors that we have. I just want to say God bless. Thank you very much for having me.
I had the article done pretty professionally, and I just thought I'd show you. We're going to give it to Josh. But it's called In the News, Josh Wege.
I initially said that we had a very special guest with us in the audience today. He is a young man who you've heard of, I'm sure. You could hear him. We had a hard battle early in his life. Damian Creed was diagnosed with eye cancer at an early age. As you know, the BBVC's mission is to help veterans and their family members who need assistance. Damian's dad, Ron Creed, served in the Army, and his mom, Sarah, is a Navy veteran. The BBVC was proud to be of assistance to the Creed family and thrilled to be part of Team Damian. We are very excited to tell you that Damian currently has no cancerous activity. We are proud to announce we have two great events coming up. For Veterans Day, we will have Dakota Myers, the second youngest recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor, as our keynote speaker. Plus there'll be some other speakers as well. And then what we'll be doing on February 29th, we will have our first fundraiser. And it will be an oldies dance type thing. And anybody knows anything about Bonita Bay Club, when we do an oldies thing, it gets packed. We have put some brochures on your table, some pledge cards, if any of you are interested in making a donation. We do have one other announcement, which we're very proud of. We have filed for and become a 501c3 not-for-profit. So that's something that's very, very important to us as we go forward. What we'd like to do is, last year, Becky put together a video. And this video is of all the members in the Bonita Bay Veterans Council who wanted to dress up, not who wanted to dress up, but had pictures of them in their uniforms back when. And a couple of them, and one of them here, will be speaking in that video. So we'd like to do that video. Also, behind me is the Bonita Bay Club Wall of Honor. All the veterans' names are up here who are part of the Bonita Bay Veterans Council. And as you all probably know, we have now opened this up to all Bonita Bay residents, and we have a lot of residents now joining the council as well. We continue to help veterans around this area. We have others that we've helped besides Damian and his family, and we want to continue this mission, and we will continue this mission.